Hello, I'm Ishameen, and my channel, Yell with the Pen, is all about how we yell with a pen and scream on paper to allow you to truthfully journal about your experiences, what's going on in your life to achieve peace and clarity. So, today I wanted to do a response video to a video called Why Journaling Makes You Feel Worse by Sarah Pacaro. And I'll link it below. In her video, she discusses why journaling can make things worse or make you feel worse because it takes you from the present into a past event that causes you anxiety. Also, whatever you focus on, you make bigger, it just becomes worse. So, because you're bringing up emotions, and by focusing on those, you feel worse. Because now you got to divide, well, I felt like this. What was I feeling? Can we go deeper into that feeling? How did I get this way? And all the things that happen while trying to journal. And what I found out is that although this can happen if you're journaling, I think it's because there's a prescribed way in which you're journaling, because you have to find the emotion, then you have to go deep into that emotion and find out the cause of it and everything. And taking those steps, and usually it's given to you by a therapist or like some prescribed way of doing it, that is what causes the anxiety and makes you feel worse. I do know that journaling is very therapeutic, and studies have shown the link between writing things down and just decreasing depression, healing anxiety, and just overall making you feel well and feel better about life and yourself. And what I find is not having a prescribed way of doing it. And if you know that if you think about this is going to cause you any anxiety or make things worse, guess what? Start with the good. Start with being grateful. And start with being grateful for all the wonderful things that are going on in your life. And then you just write about what's going on, like what had happened was, and then just write. Just get it out of your head and your heart so it's not there circling around. And writing helps you do that, because once you write it down, you kind of dealt with it somewhat. So now it doesn't have to stay at the forefront of your brain racing, because you've got it out your head and your heart. And one thing about truthfully journaling, it really helps because you can tell the truth. You don't have to lie, okay? You don't have to, you don't have to lie. You can say what you need to say the way you need to say it. And sometimes that's not pretty, okay? And sometimes as you're writing down what happens, then you find out, yeah, I did this, the part you played in it, okay? And you'll see where other people, their actions, their interactions and everything, but it also gives you a chance to say, wait a second, to recapture what happened and learn a lesson from it. If you go into it with, what can I learn from this about myself to do better the next time? You don't have to, it doesn't have to make you feel worse. In fact, it could just be a point in time that you noted what's going on so that ultimately you will feel better. Because guess what? We're human. We drop the ball all the time. Things happen. But you know what? Once we realize there is a way that we do things that may not help us communicate as best we can, and that lack of communication can cause other issues, because think about it, we all want to be heard. And sometimes when we're upset, when it comes out or spews out, it does not come out properly. And there is a way to do just about everything, honestly and heartfeltly without offending other people. Because when you're angry, I'm almost positive your speech is not going to be nice. It could have a couple of curse words in it and everything. But when you get a chance to think about it and be clear about what you want to say and what the issue is, people can hear you better. But when you're mad, who wants to be approached with somebody who's mad? Because once they see your defenses is up, their defenses are going to go up, and that's not helping anybody. So I think writing in it of itself can be very therapeutic, and it doesn't have to make you feel worse, especially when you go into it as a way to heal. Okay, this happened. Yes, this is what happened. And then you can put it the way you need to put it. Guess what? You don't have to even worry about spelling the words right. Yep, I spelled the word wrong. Guess what? This is not an English class, and I'm not taking no tests on it, so I'm not worried about it. But it's not in my head. It's not festering in my head. It's not festering in my heart, because, anything you do focus on, guess what? It reinforce. But when you come into it as learning, the learning about yourself is the primary thing, because when you know how you operate, guess what? You know where you shouldn't be. Certain environments, if they're going to trigger you, certain people going to trigger you. You know what? Guess what? I have made a decision about this, and guess what? This is not for me. And you could just back out gracefully. You know what? Nah, I'll pass, because I know me. Okay. And that's all a part of getting to know yourself. And it's wonderful that you can do this in a way that is not destructive to your life. Because let's face it, if you curse out your supervisor, you might not have a job, and you might need that to pay off some bills and take care of yourself. So that might not be the way to handle it. And then other times, by going to a person in the right way or thinking about it the right way, you could see maybe you're not always right. There was another way to deal with this that just never crossed your mind. And by being able to communicate effectively, guess what? People can give you suggestions and solutions. And you're like, wow, that never came across your mind, because that's not how you built. So I just say all that to say that writing is very therapeutic, and I think it should be used as self-care, because take care of yourself. And guess what? When things are racing in your mind and they're heavy on your heart, you can't be the best you. And sometimes you need to clear all of that out, do a vicious brain dump so you can focus on what is at hand, be in the present, And that way, what happened in the past, you have taking a look at, you have examined, now you can move on, because now you have a plan in place of what you will and will not let happen again, or you shouldn't. Okay, and sometimes that requires, some meditation, some prayer. Some people, you gotta, gird your loins, because it can be difficult, especially with family, like different friends and everything you could back up from, but backing up from family is kind of hard, especially when they're a part of your life. And sometimes they can and cannot be helpful. And maybe you don't want that, because you want the interaction. So that's all. I just wanted to bring it to you. Again, I'm Ishameen. Be blessed.